Listen to me right now. After you hear this, you will never think the same way again. In fact, you might even look back at this moment and realize this was the day you stopped living life on autopilot and started living life on purpose. Because here's the truth, your life doesn't change when the calendar changes. Your life changes when YOU change. And after today, you'll change how you do everything. Listen carefully. This might be the most important thing you hear all year. Excellence is not something you turn on when the spotlight hits you. It's not an outfit you wear to the big event and then hang back up in your closet. Excellence is a lifestyle. It's a decision you make every single day in every single thing you do, whether it looks important to others or not. Because here's the truth, how you practice in private determines how you perform in public. Most people misunderstand excellence. They think it's about perfection. No. Excellence is not about being flawless. It's about being intentional. It's about showing up with a standard that refuses to settle for mediocrity. When you live with excellence, you don't need applause to give your best. You give your best because that's who you are. Excellence is a habit that builds your character, and character is the magnet that attracts opportunities you could never have scripted. Here's the problem. Too many people only turn it on when they think it matters. They're half-hearted when no one's watching, and then shocked when the big break never comes. But opportunities don't just happen, they are drawn to preparation. And preparation is built in the quiet, ordinary moments. If you're careless with the small things, you'll be careless when the big thing comes. And that one shot could slip through your fingers. Excellence is an everyday choice. It's in how you write an email, how you greet a stranger, how you clean your desk at the end of the day. It's in whether you keep your promises when no one would notice if you didn't. It's in how you treat people who can't do anything for you. Because listen, if you only give your best when the outcome benefits you, that's not excellence, that's selfishness. And selfishness will always limit your impact. People are watching you right now who you don't even know are watching. They're making decisions about your future based on the consistency you demonstrate today. I'm telling you, your next opportunity is probably already looking for you, and the question is, will it find someone who's ready? Will it find someone who's trained their mind and their habits to do everything with care, with precision, and with pride? Excellence isn't something you chase when the dream job appears. It's something you carry with you into every room. So when the door opens, you don't just walk through it, you own it. The reality is if you can't be trusted with the little, you won't be trusted with the much. That's not just a principle in business. That's a law of life. And it's straight from Scripture. Faithfulness in the small things is the audition for the big things. So here's the challenge. Start treating every action as if it's the action that will decide your destiny, because it might be. You never know which conversation will lead to a life-changing connection. You never know which piece of work will land in the hands of someone with the power to open doors for you. You never know which small opportunity will become the turning point in your story. And when that moment comes, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of your preparation. Excellence ensures that your level of preparation is always high enough to meet the moment. The difference between the average and the extraordinary is not talent, it's habit. Average people wait for motivation. Extraordinary people operate from discipline. And discipline is simply this: doing the right thing the right way every time whether you feel like it or not. When excellence becomes your habit, success becomes your default. And when success becomes your default, you stop chasing opportunities and start choosing them. I'm going to tell you something that might sting for a moment, but it's the truth that will set you free. Your life right now is a reflection of your thinking. Every result you have, every relationship you're in, every dollar in your bank account, it all started as a thought in your mind. If you want to change the picture you're looking at, you've got to change the film it's being projected from. That means changing your thinking. Most people spend their lives trying to rearrange the furniture in a burning building. They keep changing jobs, changing partners, changing locations, but they never change the one thing that truly matters, the way they think. And then they wonder why their life keeps producing the same story in a different setting. You can't build a new life with the same old mindset. You can't produce different results while clinging to the same beliefs that built your current ones. The Bible says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Notice, it doesn't say be transformed by the renewing of your paycheck or the renewing of your friends or the renewing of your circumstances. Transformation starts inside. It starts with the way you interpret the world around you. If you think small, you'll live small. If you think scarcity, you'll live in lack even when abundance is all around you. But if you think growth, if you think possibilities, if you think faith, your life will begin to expand to the size of your thoughts. Here's the hook. The only thing standing between you and the life you dream of is a thought you haven't thought yet. Let that sink in. One new thought can open a door you didn't even know existed. One new thought can change the way you see a problem. And in that moment, the problem becomes a possibility. But you'll never find that thought if you're stuck recycling the same mental patterns you've been carrying for years. The mind is like soil. Whatever you plant in it will grow. If you plant fear, doubt, and limitation, that's exactly what you'll harvest. If you plant faith, vision, and perseverance, that's what will grow. And here's the truth. The weeds of negative thinking don't need permission to grow. They grow by default. That's why you have to be intentional about planting seeds of possibility every single day. You can't expect a harvest of abundance while allowing your mind to be overrun with weeds of worry and complaints. Changing your thinking is not a one-time decision. It's a daily discipline. Every day, you are either upgrading your mindset or downgrading it. Every conversation you listen to, every piece of content you consume, every belief you agree with, is either moving you closer to the life you want or further away from it. That's why you have to guard your mind like the most valuable treasure you own, because it is. If you want to change your thinking, start by changing the questions you ask yourself. Stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? Stop asking, can I afford it? And start asking, how can I afford it? Stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what if this works better than I imagined? The quality of your life will always rise to match the quality of your questions. Opportunities are all around you right now, but you can only see the ones your mind is trained to recognize. That's why two people can look at the exact same situation and one sees a dead end while the other sees a gold mine. It's not the situation that's different. It's the mindset. And here's the beautiful thing. The moment you decide to think differently, you give yourself permission to live differently. Let me give you a truth that once you hear it, you'll never be able to unhear it. The way you do anything is the way you do everything. I know that sounds simple, maybe even obvious, but it's one of the most powerful principles you'll ever live by. If you cut corners in the small things, you'll cut corners in the big things. If you show up late to the things you think don't matter, you'll show up late to the things that matter most. The habits you practice when you think nobody's watching are the same habits that will show up when everybody's watching. We like to think we can separate our life into compartments, that we can be sloppy in one area and still be excellent in another. But your habits don't have compartments. Your character doesn't have compartments. And your reputation doesn't have compartments. Who you are in the little things is who you really are. And that's the version of you that people are building their trust or their doubt on. If you hand in work at 90% effort thinking, it's just this once, you've actually just trained yourself to normalize 90% effort. And when the big opportunity comes, you'll show up with the same 90% without even realizing it. The muscle memory of your habits will pull you right back to your default level of effort. That's why high performers treat small assignments with the same respect as big ones. Because they know it's not just about the task, it's about the training. Here's the hook. The small things you do are the audition for the big things you want. Every little action is a seed. Excellence in the little seeds produces a harvest of opportunities. Neglect in the little seeds produces weeds of missed chances. If you want a life that operates at the highest level, you have to train for that level every single day, even in the moments that look insignificant. I've met people who say, when I get my big break, that's when I'll work harder. And I tell them, no, you'll work the same way you work now, only with higher stakes and more people watching. If you want the big break, you have to prove you can handle the small stage. How you manage $100 determines how you'll manage $1 million. How you treat the one client you have now determines how you'll treat the 100 you want later. The way you carry yourself when no one knows your name determines how you'll carry yourself when everybody knows your name. Excellence and integrity are not things you switch on when the rewards show up. They are things you build into your DNA so that when the rewards show up, you're already prepared. And here's the thing, preparation is invisible. No one claps for you while you're doing it. No one celebrates you for showing up early, for double checking your work, for making one more phone call, for putting in the extra hour. But that unseen preparation is exactly what will make people think, wow, they make it look easy when your moment comes. The truth is, life is constantly giving you a test. And the test is this: will you be faithful in the little? Will you treat the things you think don't matter as if they do? Because they do. The small things are where trust is built. And trust is the currency that buys you opportunities you can't afford to lose. So start seeing everything you do as connected. The way you talk to the person at the front desk is connected to the way you talk to your most important client. The way you keep your promises in personal life is connected to the way you keep your promises in business. The way you make your bed is connected to the way you build your empire. Every action is training for every other action. And when you train every action to be excellent, your whole life becomes excellent by default. I need you to hear me on this. Waiting will not change your life, but creating will. Some of you have been waiting for years. Waiting for the right time, the right opportunity, the right circumstances. And here's the hard truth. The right time you're waiting for doesn't exist. Time doesn't get right. you get right. The moment you decide to move, that's when the timing starts to align. The world rewards action, not hesitation. Most people don't fail because they don't have talent or resources. They fail because they wait too long to start. They wait until they feel ready, until they think they have enough money, until they believe the fear will go away. But fear doesn't disappear before you take action. It disappears because you take action. Waiting is just a comfortable disguise for procrastination, and procrastination is the slow death of potential. Here's the hook. Nothing new is going to show up in your life until you show up for it. If you want to write a book, start writing. If you want to start a business, start building. If you want to change careers, start learning the skills. Stop waiting for someone to hand you permission. God already gave you permission when He gave you breath this morning. Every day you wake up, you are holding a fresh 24-hour opportunity to create something that didn't exist yesterday. What you do with it is your choice. Creation is not just for artists, it's for achievers. To create means to take what exists in your mind and put it into the world. It could be an idea, a product, a system, a relationship, a movement, but it has to move from thought to action. Ideas don't pay bills. Effort does. Dreams don't feed your family. Execution does. There's a reason the word create is active, not passive. You cannot create by standing still. Some people say, but Myron, what if I'm not ready? And I say, you'll never be ready. You get ready by starting. Readiness is not a requirement, it's a result. The greatest breakthroughs in history didn't come from people who had everything figured out before they started. They came from people who started anyway and figured it out along the way. The path becomes clear while you're walking it, not while you're staring at it. You have to understand that waiting costs you. Every day you wait is a day you can't get back. Opportunities expire, momentum fades, ideas lose their freshness. Someone else with less talent but more action can pass you by and claim the space you were supposed to fill. And the truth is, the world doesn't pause for you to feel ready. While you're waiting, someone else is creating. Start small if you have to, but start. A seed in the ground is worth more than a forest in your imagination. One imperfect action is worth more than 1,000 perfect intentions. Progress is built on motion, not meditation. If you want something to change, you have to move, even if it's messy, even if it's uncertain, even if it's uncomfortable. Because comfort is where dreams go to sleep, and discomfort is where they wake up. There is somebody right now who needs what you have to offer, but they can't receive it until you create it. Your delay is delaying someone else's destiny. That's how important your action is. What you create doesn't just change your life. It can change lives all over the world. But none of that happens until you decide to stop waiting and start building the future you've been praying for. So take the idea off the shelf. Take the vision off the back burner. Stop circling the runway and take off. The air you breathe today is the green light you've been waiting for. Creation is the proof you believe in your own potential. And every day you choose to create, you are choosing to believe that your life can be more than it is right now. I'm going to say something that might shake you up. Faith without action is not faith at all. It's just wishful thinking. Too many people confuse belief with movement. They think because they hope for something, pray for something, or talk about something, that means they're living in faith. But real faith is not just believing God it's moving like He already has. If you truly believe the door will open, you start walking toward it. Most people use the word. Faith as an excuse to do nothing. They say, I'm just waiting on God, but in reality, God is waiting on them. Faith is not passive. Faith is aggressive. Faith is moving forward before you see the full path. If Noah had waited for the rain to start before building the ark would have never been finished. He didn't just believe God's warning. He acted like it was already true. That's the difference between faith and fantasy. Here's the hook. Prayer without action is like planting seeds without watering them. You can have the best seeds in the world, but if you don't water them, they will die in the ground. Your actions are the water to your prayers. When you take a step, you are proving that your belief is real. When you refuse to take a step, you are proving that your doubt is stronger than your desire. God designed faith and works to operate together. You pray like it depends on Him, and you work like it depends on you. That's not a contradiction, that's cooperation. Some people are so spiritual, they forget to be practical. And others are so practical, they forget to be spiritual. The winners are the ones who combine both. They align their actions with their beliefs. So every move they make is a declaration of trust. If you say you believe in abundance, but your actions are filled with fear and scarcity, your life will follow your actions, not your words. If you say you believe you can build a business, but you never pick up the phone, never learn a new skill, never invest in yourself, your life will believe your inactivity over your declarations. Faith is not measured by what you say you believe, it's measured by what you are willing to do about it. Some people say, well, I'm just waiting for a sign. But here's the truth. The sign is that you woke up this morning. Breath in your lungs is the clearest sign you'll ever get that you still have purpose to fulfill. You don't need another confirmation. You need a commitment. God will steer a moving ship, but He can't steer something that's sitting still at the dock. Movement matters. And let me make this clear. Action doesn't mean reckless rushing. It means intentional steps in the direction of your calling. It means showing up with discipline, learning what you need to learn, doing what you can with what you have, and trusting God to multiply it. The boy with the 5 loaves and 2 fish didn't have enough to feed the crowd, but he had enough to start the miracle. Your action may look small, but in God's hands, it becomes more than enough. Faith is not the absence of fear, it's movement in spite of it. Courage is not the absence of doubt. It's doing what you're called to do while doubt whispers in your ear. Every breakthrough you've been praying for is on the other side of an action you haven't taken yet. So stop sitting on the edge of the water waiting for it to part. Sometimes God parts the water after you step in. Faith without action is like a car without gas. It might look good. It might make you feel good sitting in it, but it's not going anywhere. You don't prove your faith by talking about it. You prove it by moving, building, creating, serving, and stepping into the unknown with confidence that you're not stepping alone. When your belief and your behavior match, that's when your life begins to shift. I want you to picture something with me. The most expensive place on earth is not the diamond mines of Africa. It's not the oil fields of the Middle East. It's not the banks of Wall Street. The richest place in the world is the graveyard, because buried there are books that were never written, businesses that were never built, songs that were never sung, dreams that were never pursued. And here's the question you have to answer for yourself. Are you going to add to that wealth? Or are you going to pour out everything God put in you before you leave this earth? You came into this world loaded with potential, gifts, talents, ideas, solutions, relationships, experiences, opportunities that no one else could bring in exactly the same way you can. And the tragedy is, most people will die with most of it still inside them. Not because they weren't capable, but because they never gave themselves permission to fully release it. They let fear, doubt, procrastination, and the opinions of others convince them to keep it locked away. Here's the hook. Your potential is not for you, it's for the world. That dream you've been holding on to might be the answer to someone else's prayer. That business you're scared to start might be the job that feeds another family. That story you're afraid to tell might be the words that give someone else the courage to keep going. When you hold back, you're not just robbing yourself, you're robbing everyone who could have been blessed by what you carry. The reality is, your days are numbered. None of us knows how much time we have left. Every morning you wake up, you're one day closer to the end of your assignment here. That's not meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up. Stop living like you have forever to get started. You don't. And the greatest pain at the end of life is not the pain of failure. It's the pain of regret, knowing you could have, should have, would have, but didn't. Potential is like a seed. If you plant it, it grows. If you hoard it, it rots. Seeds were never meant to stay in your pocket. They were meant to go into the ground. Yes, planting them is risky. Yes, you don't always know exactly how it will turn out. But the only guarantee is this: if you don't plant, you'll never harvest. You can't leave your potential buried inside and expect to reap the rewards of a life well lived. Some people say, but I'm not ready. Let me tell you something. You don't have to be ready to start pouring out your gift. You just have to be willing. God doesn't require perfection. He requires obedience. He doesn't need you to have it all figured out. He needs you to take what you have and start multiplying it. Just like the servant with the talents in Scripture, you're responsible for increasing what you've been given, not hiding it in the ground. You can't take your potential with you when you go. You can take the memories, you can take the lessons, but the gifts, they either get used now or they get buried forever. And one day when you stand before God, He's not going to ask you, why weren't you more like someone else? He's going to ask you, what did you do with what I gave you? That's the question you need to start answering right now while you still have breath. So live full and die empty. Give away the ideas, the kindness, the leadership, the creativity, the love, the service, the solutions. Pour it all out. Let there be nothing left in you that was meant to be shared with the world. Make the decision today that when your time comes, the grave won't get 1 ounce of your unused potential. Because the world doesn't just need you alive. It needs you fully alive, fully activated, fully released. So here's your decision point. You can hear this and go back to your old patterns, or you can hear this and say, from now on, I'm showing up differently. You can keep living a life of excuses, or you can live a life of execution. Change your thinking, change your habits, change your life. After this moment, if you choose, you'll change how you do everything. And when you do, everything will change for you. I'll see you at the top because the bottom is way too crowded.